boys arriving.
Yeah, they'll be here in the middle, Zach, you're on
What's going on?
the end. How are you? Good, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Good seeing you, man. Nice seeing you.
Okay, again, the format will be, we'll open up with a statement from Coach Painter, and then we'll go to the student athletes, and when we're finished with them, we'll dismiss them back, and then we'll continue with Matt. So, Coach?
Yeah, I thought, the difference in the game was our ability to make our free throws, get a lot of free throws, and obviously rebound. I thought the rebounding, this was a game that would have been it was a struggle anyways, but it would have been a real struggle for us last year. And going 3 for 25 from three and having the three-point shooters that we do, it is frustrating. Our guys put in a lot of time shooting the basketball, and a lot of them are here because they can shoot the basketball. So that's been the last couple games pretty frustrating, but I have all the confidence in the world for the people who take threes for us and making threes. We just got to keep working at it, and you're going to have games when the ball doesn't go in, and who are you when that happens? And I thought we hung in there tonight and made enough plays to pull out the victory.
Okay, questions for the student athletes?
Caleb, Steve Sturman, Excel Sports. 0 points at halftime and 1 rebound. Second half, I don't know what was said at halftime, but you're a different athlete out there on the floor. Talk a little bit about your what happened after the first half and why you were so productive in the second place.
Yeah, I think kind of when I play, my main focus is always, just to play with joy. And so I think kind of at halftime, that's kind of what I focused on, and that's kind of what I made my focus. Just go out there and have fun. We get to play the game we love, and it doesn't get much better than that. And so just that, and I think just as a team, we were able to kind of get a run going. We always try to really emphasize the first 5 minutes of the second half, and so I think we were able to kind of successfully get out there and get a good start to the half.
Zach, Kyle with Sports Report Media. What's it like playing with that guy next to you, Caleb? I mean, he's 6'10". He's not as big as you, but he's cleaning up all the rebounds on there for you. And what's it like playing with him?
Zach?
It's great. I mean, kind of with the attention I draw on the rebounds, they'll send 2 or 3 people. Caleb can just get a rebound. He's very different from me, the way he rebounds. I kind of play with strength, and I try to jump up and get those contested balls. Caleb's very hard to box out. Like in practice, even you try to step to him and he just sprints around underneath the rim. It's like what can I do? So it's nice to play with him. He's really great on the rebounds. He's always been like that. He has strong hands. He's able to get those contested rebounds, pull them down. He's patient around the rim. Like he finished really well around the rim today, I think. Just off those dump downs, off those dunks. He had a few back cuts that were really nice. It's just easy. He just opens up the floor, even when maybe his shots aren't falling from the perimeter. You can just do a lot of other things.
Raise your hand, please. Right here.
For Zach, they talked about how they thought Davidson thought that they did a good job on you defensively in the first half, but you still had 17 points and 11 rebounds. What were they doing defensively to slow you down, and how did you go about counteracting that?
Zach?
Yeah, they were kind of just like double teaming me almost before I got the ball. They had one guy just kind of sit underneath the rim, and whenever I got the ball, he would just come. We call it on a buffalo, but it's like a double team that comes from underneath. So they were just doing that. It was tough to get those post touches and those post looks because of that. But I kind of found success on the boards, getting those kind of offensive putbacks, stuff like that. That's just not necessarily me posting up and getting the ball, just other ways for me to score and get those fouls, knock my free throws down.
Right here front.
Caleb, at halftime, I think Zach was 8 of 10 shooting. The rest of the team was 3 of 22. Obviously, you give a boost in that first 4 minutes. Did you feel like that was a situation where you could step up and maybe take advantage of the way they were defending Zach and get this team, maybe shooting at a little bit higher percentage?
Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, with the way Zach plays and just all the attention he draws, whether it's for rebounds or scoring or even passing and all that, he makes it easy to play off of him, and so every team we play, they're going to give him so much focus, and so we really emphasize playing through him, throwing it in, playing inside out, and so we were kind of going to do that.
Raise your hand, please. Anything, right there?
Brandon Reef, Crossroads Sports. This is going to be for any of the three of you. What was it like tonight being in Gainbridge Fieldhouse here at Indianapolis? Looked like all of West Lafayette was here in attendance tonight for the game. Just kind of the feelings with that, with the emotion of the crowd.
Zach, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the support was obviously great. It almost felt like a home environment. The way that the fans showed up, the way they were loud, the way they helped. Get those, go on those runs is always easier when you have those fans behind you and that fan support. And I thought they were really great today. It's amazing to see kind of, we're an hour and a half away from West Lafayette, but still the fans kind of show up and they really supported us.
Ken?
Yeah, just kind of second everything Z said.
All right. There you go.
I love that kid.
Anything else for the right here?
Yeah, for Zach, just when the threes aren't falling, are you guys not pressed or not getting patient or whatever it might be?
Zach?
I think just as a team, we have so much trust in each other. We have a lot, like everyone on this team can shoot. There's really no one on this team where they take a shot from the three and you're like, man, we could have got a better one. Like everyone, I have so much trust in every single one of my teammates. So if they're not falling, no one's gonna get on each other. Like no one's getting mad at each other in the huddles. No one's like, hey, pass me the ball, this. We're just, hey, good shot, keep shooting them kind of thing. We all have just really trust each other from the perimeter, and we've all seen each other knock down really good shots, just not falling at the moment. But we're finding other ways to win, like Coach Payne said, which is big.
Anything else? All right, fellas, thank you. And we'll continue with Coach Painter. And Matt, I'll let you address the question about the environment.
I think it was obviously a great environment. We've always enjoyed, playing here, and we have obviously a lot of fans in the Indianapolis area and from all over. People that travel to games in West Lafayette, they're gonna travel here also. It's not everybody that just in our community that goes to games at Mackey Arena. So a little bit easier in football than it is basketball, because people can normally go on the weekend to that. Sometimes games are during the week, so it's a little sticky. But we want to try to continue to play in Indianapolis. We were huge fans of the Crossroads Classic, even though we had the worst record. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I think it was the right thing. It was the right thing for all fans in the state of Indiana, not just Purdue fans. And it was good for college basketball. And I always felt like we get a chance to play Butler or Notre Dame, and they're both great programs. They've all had great coaches, and they're always right there, battling to get in the NCAA tournament. And not everybody's perfect and goes every single year. But even though we might have lost some of those games, I always felt like we learned a lot and we played quality opponents. And that's what you want to do. Like, you want to be able to. You got to play your home games, but obviously you're going to play some road games, especially in conference. But last time I checked, you play NCAA tournament games on neutral courts. So why not go to our state capital where the most people are and play in front of our fans? And so hopefully we can continue to do this. But there's a lot of moving parts in the landscape of college basketball right now. So it's a little bit different than just wanting to do something versus you got to keep playing people. But this was good for us. Coach McKillop is young coach, but he's been in it. His dad was one of the best coaches in college basketball, and they're good. The way they scheme and the way they do things, and if we're not going to be able to make a shot, why should they change in what they do? No different than what Nebraska did to us. We're up 14 with 14 minutes to go against them, and all of a sudden we went cold. And people aren't going to change. They're going to make us prove some things. And I thought we had some resolve tonight. I thought we hung in there and did some other things besides shoot the basketball well that helped us win the game.
Hey, Matt, Kyle, Sports Report Media. What's it like for you? You bring a lot of these kids in. They're not 5 stars, they're not 4 stars, but you build a team. What's it like for you, with college basketball right now and having your team be just such a great team?
Yeah, well, they're 5 stars in my eyes, and so I could care less than anybody else thinks. And if you saw some of the people that actually, do rank them, it's just like it's impossible. It's impossible to put a bunch of work into 500 kids and be good at it. It just is. Because you're seeing them in different formats, you're seeing them in different places. But no, it's great. You're very fortunate if you got a job and you got enough players in your area to be successful. You're very fortunate. A lot of people will beat coaches up where like you didn't keep this kid or get that kid or do this. It's hard. It's hard. If you don't get a good kid in the state of Indiana, there's normally another one. Maybe he's not quite as good, but be grateful for what you have. And so that's what we've always done. We've always looked at those guys. We've signed one McDonald's All-American in 18 years, and we've done pretty well. But I've looked at guys and just, thought they were just as good as some of those guys. They just needed maybe a little bit more time, or maybe one that's tall or quick or whatever it might be. Doesn't mean you can't be a good basketball player. Like, a lot of that rankings get on talent, and I'd rather coach on production.
All right.
Matt, Steve Strimming. Two things that stuck out in my mind was the offensive rebounds, your plus today, and the fact, are you concerned at all with only 1 point off the bench?
Sure. When you looked at that, we just never could get into a flow. Obviously, the first thing that jumps out is they're 0 for 13 collectively. And so I shortened our rotation. It doesn't mean that we didn't have people that were starting and playing more minutes that shot the ball well either. But I just thought we had to stick with it. I wanted to stick with Ethan Morton on Foster Lawyer, especially after he hit those 2 threes. I didn't want to switch that up anymore. So that got him in the game. I thought Braden did a really good job playing that first 8-9 minutes of the second half, along with Caleb. Did some really good things. The one thing that also happens is, Zach Edey had 29 and 16. Like, don't take him for granted. I know I don't. Like, we're just asking questions, and we're not even going to ask about someone who had 29 and 16. It's like the 4th question, So, he's great. He's fabulous. And he's also unselfish, which makes for a great team. So we got a lot of guys that they're happy we won, but they're hanging their head a little bit. If they couldn't shoot, I wouldn't have taken them. I've really recruited through skill and character and trying to find the pieces, because we've been able to get size. Now, if you can balance that size with skill, now that's a very good recipe. We have a good recipe. Today was a good thing, even though we went 3 for 25 from 3, is because we had to grind it out. Like, the ball's not gonna always go in. So we just gotta keep, doing what we're doing and be process-based.
And following up real quick, then Ethan was key for you guys in the second half as far as rotation.
No question. He did a good job. He did a really good job. He had a little stretch there where he kept falling down. But we got the banana peels off the court, and it worked out from there.
Thank you.
Casey Bartley, Boiler Upload Rivals. You can tell me if I'm wrong on the first part, but it didn't seem like an effort thing out there today. It just seemed like shots weren't falling.
Right, correct.
What do you tell your team when that's really the only issue?
Don't get frustrated and keep doing your job. Don't search out, your productivity or your happiness through shooting a tough shot. Like, when it's not going your way, you got to show some resolve and be a little bit more patient and give him a chance. Like, sometimes just pass faking or whatever. Let him touch the basketball. We're going to go to the free throw line that way. We're going to get him in rotations that way. But yeah, just stay with it. Just stay with what we're doing and don't get frustrated. But I thought Caleb's energy in that second half really, really helped us. He wasn't the only one. We had a lot of people, but his energy there. And then Braden and Fletch, even though they didn't make a ton of shots, both of those guys got a lot of poise. They got a lot of poise. They know how to play the game. They stay with things, so they're going to have great careers.
Right.
I guess Braden had 12 rebounds today. He's obviously not the biggest guy out there. What makes him such a good rebounder?
You just got a good nose for it. You saw him kind of mix it up to start the game, and get the ball. When the ball's loose, he's diving, he's jumping on it. You saw that with Fletch a couple times today. But Braden's just got a really good nose for it. He's very athletic, and he's got long arms. And we get him to that nail on offense, and just he picks up the ball. But any ball that comes in that area, man, he pounces on it. And those long rebounds are tough, but he'll go up and get them. And you got to want to. You got to have that want to where when the ball's loose or your long rebounds, you got to stick your nose in there and go and get it. And he enjoys doing that. He's really good at it.
Hey, Matt, question on the Indy Classic. I've asked you questions crossroads before. You grew up in Muncie. What's it like for you to see Ball State step up and, be a part of this and just kind of be out there?
Yeah.
And obviously you grew up watching them.
Yeah, no doubt. I was a Ball State fan, growing up. And so I was in the knothole game when I was in kindergarten, chasing field goals. So in 75, they didn't have nets, guys. You had to chase the field goal. Then you can take the ball to the concession stand and get something. So that was cool. So you can see I like the concession stand. But no, I always follow Ball State. Obviously, I think they have a great hire, Michael Lewis. I think his grit and how he was competitive as a player, that's the way he's going to be as a coach. I don't watch him, but I follow their box scores whenever I get a chance. But no, it's great to see Ball State get a win, and hopefully they can get it going again and get back in the NCAA tournament.
Couple more for Coach, right?
Coach Mason coming back from injury, how do you assess his performance tonight?
Well, it's hard. You know, it was one of those games where it was tough, and now I'm trying to search out things. Caleb playing well there in the second half, kind of shortened his minutes. I thought he did a great job of not forcing things. You know, he penetrated and pitched and got Ethan a 3 that one time, one of our 3 threes. So I don't mean to laugh, but laughing's better than crying. And he just plays so hard, man. It's great to have him back, but a lot of times when you do that, you want to play more so you can kind of find your way. And it's when you have a deep team, it's really hard. But he's done this before. You know, when he got back into our rotation last year, it didn't happen right away. You know, it takes a little bit of time. When Sasha got COVID the one time, like I brought him off the bench for 3 games. Then finally in that 3rd game, he got it going, and you just kind of wait to see them get their legs under them and get back. And then as a coach, you have a decision to make, like who you start at that point. But I love to get him going. You know, like any other player, I always go home and worry about the people that struggle. You know, I worry about the people that come off the bench and didn't get much of an opportunity. I wish I wasn't that way, but you know, but he'll get going. He's very, very determined. And when you do that and you come back, you know, you want more of an opportunity. In today's game, kind of handcuffed us a little bit. He didn't get as much.
Right here.
Matt, after the second media timeout in the first half, it looked like there was some confusion on the subs. Did Fletcher save you a technical foul in that instance? It seemed like he talked to you and said, these are the guys that were in the game.
Yeah, those officials didn't know. Fletcher was right. You know, Fletcher was the only one that knew. They didn't know, and I didn't know. And so I told him, I just said, Fletch, if I was smart at all, I wouldn't be coaching. And he just kind of looked at me and crossed his eyebrows and walked away. But no, he was right though. And it was 3 people too. So maybe Fletch is going to be an official.
We're going to take 2 more right here.
Casey Bartley, Boiler Upload. The coach mentioned that the defense was similar to what you saw with Nebraska, especially on Edey.
Correct.
Do you feel like Edey figured something out from that, singing for a 2nd straight game? Or
no, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, we work it a lot in practice. I mean, we work it a lot. He's gotten really good at it. He did a good job against Nebraska. I know he had 5. He had 5 turnovers. What do you have tonight? 1, 0, 1. Yeah, he's done really well.
he just got more looks.
Yeah, exactly. He got more. He got more, and he also got some offensive rebounds. So but he's worked really hard at his passing and his decision making, and that's what's so cool. And that's where I would feel good as one of the perimeter players on our team, because you know you're going to get opportunities. Like, you know, now we got to do our part as perimeter players and 3-point shooters, because that'd be an unbelievable balance for us offensively. And the more you can make shots or whatever, it just gives you confidence, and it sets your defense. So you're not always playing in transition defensively. And but no, he's an unbelievable weapon. I never would have thought this at this point when I went the first time to recruiting. I never would have thought that. You guys got to understand, it's a 6th year of organized basketball. I don't know what age you were, but I was 10 in my 6th year of organized basketball.
So there was that stretch in the second half where scoring was kind of hard to come by. You guys get the bonus. You can go 5 to 6 in the 1-on-1. That's kind of the untold productivity of that activity too, right?
Yes, you know, his confidence has also grown because he's making his free throws. I think that's something when you get and you're not making your free throws, you're shooting 55 to 60%, and now you don't want to get fouled, and that's dangerous. You know, you want your best player always wanting to get fouled, and he embraces that. You know, he just puts them in binds, especially when the ball comes from different spots, because they were bringing that low man over. And then when he moves and they're not set, especially the secondary defender coming through the arc, they're stuck.
Nice, Coach.
You guys sure you don't have any more questions? Jesus. Yeah, hey, hold that thought.
You know, I was out of basketball.